Hey y'all, what's up? Chad Wright coming to you here once again on the channel, Team Righteous, and we are back with the Side Chick 2.0. That's it back there, up under the blanket, trying to stay warm. You know, it's only like 95 degrees around here. But anyway, so like I said, we got the Side Chick 2.0 back here up under the cover, and we have got the new fairings on there. So, as I mentioned in my last video, my best friend, she hooked us up, got us a brand new set of fairings for this bike right here from one of the companies that makes the aftermarket fairings. And anyways, we got it on here, and today is the day we make some tests with it. So before, when I posted some information in some of the Facebook groups and stuff, well, they was like, oh, it's running so slow because it's don't have fairings on it, and because this and that and all this other stuff. So, well, we've done some testing with the gearing and stuff. Less in first gear, less in second gear, had better results in first gear than we did second gear. Now we got the fairings on there, but I don't want to show off the fairings just yet. I want y'all to be able to see the reveal of what this thing right here looks like. So this thing right here turned out immaculate. Can't thank her enough for what she did for us to be able to get these fairings. And to give you a little clue, I've wanted these fairings on a bike, or a bike with these fairings on it, one of the two, since 2021. So that's what the fairings or the design that's on these fairings are off of. So this is a 2007 model, so it's not the correct fairings or correct design for them, of course, but the design that's on there is the one I wanted since 2021. So anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna let y'all check this thing right here out. All right, y'all, here we are. So as you can see back here, we still got the same wheel that we had on it before. Haven't changed none of that stuff. So still, the bike's still a little rough around the edges on some other stuff, but the fairings, man, these things turned out incredible on this bike. But anyways, so like I said, we're gonna take this thing down here. I've got the Zatronics wideband on here. I've got the Woolwich log box on here so we can go log this data information. So I'm gonna go make, and take the draggy with me too. I'm gonna take the draggy with me, get the information off of it, and see, are there any gains from running the fairings on here versus not having them on there? Is it gonna make it quicker? Is it gonna be quicker out the back with the, once the aerodynamics really start mattering after 100 mile an hour? Like, that should be where we start really seeing the difference at. But anyways, we're going to get that information. So like I said, we'll have a time, we'll have data, and see if the ram air is any different. So if it's going to be any leaner because now the ram air tubes are in their proper location versus, you know, where they were at, all that right there. But anyways, like I said, without further ado, let's see what this thing right here turned out like. 3, 2, boom, baby. So for those of y'all wondering, there's the old red sticker that I put on there to let you know that the bike was red at the time. You know, I had that red nose on there. That's about all that was on there. About the only thing that I can tell body wise that I really need is to get the tank. Either find someone who I can get the paint and see if I can get this paint from the company that I ordered the fairings from. You know, we gotta have the blue Team Righteous sticker on there, man. But get the silver tank on there to match the rest of the silver. And I think this silver running through here, I think it's going to run perfect. Like, I think that would be perfect how it's going to turn out. So we're going to try to get a silver tank on this thing before long. Got some mirrors here off a 2011 plus GSXR 600-750. So I had to modify them a little bit. You got to notch them out here, so we had to do that right there. But we got ram air tubes where they're supposed to be at. The headlight, it was in rough shape. So I'm going to try to clean this right here up, make it look good and everything. But if I can't get it to clean up, I'll just order us another one for it. And then the frame, it still needs to be gone back over and either cleaned up, which I don't know if it's going to be enough, or go back over it and paint it as well. And just try to make this thing here look just a little bit better, you know, than what it does now. The back wheel back here, it's going to go anyways. This is off an 0405 600-750. And like, it was just on there when I got the bike. So we're working with what we got here. But like I said, man, this thing right here turned out incredible how it looks. It does, it's got a little grease splotch on there somehow. It got on this tail light here. But yeah, like I said, we got that out there. And for anybody wondering, it's got one of these 06, 07, 600, 750s. The dreadful rectifier locations they had originally on these bikes. So where it's at now, it was basically turned 90 degrees in front of the frame and right above the header. So it got all the heat off of the radiator and even more heat off the exhaust. And the exhaust really is what killed them. So that rectifier there, this bike didn't have one on it at all. This rectifier here is actually off of an 0405. Doesn't really matter. It does the job like it's supposed to be able to convert AC electricity into DC for the battery to charge. But anyways, we really relocated it there to the side to keep it in the air and keep it away from all the heat. We've had good luck with those in the past that way. So that's where we're at right now. So anyways, hopefully y'all like this thing here, how it turned out. And as you can notice, I put that mirror in the other night. Then I got busy doing something else, and we got a one of the blinker lights is unplugged. So I got to find that wire, get it tied up in there. But I'm about to take this thing right here out to Mexico, and let's see, do the fairings make a difference? I think possibility is maybe a 10th. So last time we went 836, I believe. So if we can get it into the 20s with the fairings, I think it'll be pretty impressive, and I'll be able to tell, you know, where it was gained at. So if it's going to gain it, I'm thinking it's going to gain it, like I said, in the top 20 to 30 mile an hour is where it's really going to matter at. So anyways, let me get this thing right here off the stand here, and we're going to see if we can teleport down to Mexico with this thing. Y'all, so we are back here at the house and made our trip back from Mexico. Good, safe trip. Everything felt pretty good. So anyways, so here's where we're at. I have to admit something. I was wrong. I was incorrect. I did not think that the fairings were going to have that much of an effect on this bike, mainly because it did have the headlight, and it did have you know, that front nose fairing in the windscreen, so that was getting the air over me. So I assumed that part there was going to make a difference enough that if once we put fairings on here, we was only going to gain a 10th. Well, I'm here to inform you that I was incorrect. So I'm going to go over these numbers with you here, and I'm going to throw up on the screen the same thing that I'm looking at here. But here's what we got. So overall, let's just go ahead and go overall and knock it out of the park here. So my quickest pass before was an 8.36 seconds, 8.36 seconds, and it took me 1,266.99 feet. Might as well call it 1,267. So 1,267 feet to go from 60 to 130. This one here, we went an 8.01. So as you can see there, we picked up 35 numbers. Now, some of this stuff down low, I'm not really too focused on it so much. One, other than I did go slower in some places than what I went before. So I do know there's more in it. There's definitely, I mean, you can see right off the bat from 60 to 70, you know, we're at 0.55. Well, I was at a 0.55, 0.56, I believe, before with it. So the jump, when I pinned it, it was there. But the next one from 60 to 80, I'm going to say that part of this was from my shift, and I'll show y'all that here in a minute on the graph here from the data log, that, you know, my shift points were, or my auto throttle was pretty slow. So of course, you know what the next video's got to be whenever we bring this thing back out again, is we got to see how much does a quick shifter really make a difference on this thing. But anyways, so here we go. We lost 2/10 right there on the 60 to 80. 60 to 90 was exactly the same as far as, well, I guess from 80 mile per hour to 90 mile per hour. So that's what the math is on here. But from 80 mile per hour to 90 mile per hour was exactly the same. From 90 to 100 was 3 numbers slower. So we're down 2/10 before, and now we're down 3 more numbers. That's 23 hundredths that we're down. And then we started gaining some of that back. So now we're from 100 to 110 mile per hour. We're at
a 112. So that's the same as before, you know, almost, but you know, that's 3 numbers back. So now we're at 2/10 that we're down. So we're still 2/10 slower than what we went on our best pass. So on our best pass, well, I'll take that back, not 2/10, sorry, 1/10, because we were 1/10 quicker from the beginning. So we're 1/10 quicker, or 1/10 slower right now, though, still at this point right here. From 110 to 120 mile per hour, we went a 165. So let's see here. Yeah, so that's 15 numbers. So we were down a 1/10. Now we're up 5 numbers. So we are 5 numbers quicker to, yeah, we're, well, I guess 4 numbers quicker. We're 4 numbers quicker, because you can see 627 versus 623. So we are 4 numbers quicker right here at 120 mile per hour. So here's where where I made the gain at. This is where the fairings really start to shine at, from 120 to 130 mile per hour. Now, my first pass before I ever tuned it, so with no tuning other than just the flash that was put in there that I told you I found on Woolwich, you know, I'd made up like half a second right there on just tuning the bike. And so here I've gained another 20. See here, what is that? 20. It's 22 plus another 9. So that's 31 numbers. So I gained 31 hundredths of a second in just that last 10 mile per hour. So that means from the moment that I tuned the bike originally, starting out with that 926 that we ran. Let's see here. I believe, or no, 905. Sorry. I want to believe it's what it was. Now I'm trying to remember what it was, but I think it was a 905 on my very first pass. So from that to an 801, I've gained over a second by, you know, over a second off of that original time with tuning and fairings. And then in the last stretch there, like I said, I gained almost all of it right there. Like almost every bit of in the tuning and in the and with the fairings was gained from that 120 to 130 mile per hour. So if this thing right here would go to say 150, which I don't have enough room on the road that I'm on there in Mexico, I'd have to go find another longer stretch. But if it would go from up to 150 mile an hour, I guarantee you if I went from that beginning, you know, garbage tune that was in there with no fairings on it to what we got now, that number from 120 to 150 would be humongous. Like, and I'm impressed, like I said. So to be able to pick up, you know, 35 numbers with fairings, and as you can see, 31 of those 35 numbers was gained right there. So part of it was gained at the beginning, and then I lost it out throughout the run. So 790s is definitely possible on this bike. I'm already starting to see some numbers and stuff with this. So anyways, I'm going to flip it around here. So here's what we're working with right here. So you can see my shift points, like every single one of them. Usually they're one's slow and one's kind of quick and a couple other ones are slow or whatever. But, you know, this right here, I had some bad results. So I had slow shift times, which is probably the reason why some of my early times on the run here was a little bit slower. Now that first gear hit, like it's where it's supposed to be at, that 0.55 seconds. Like that's just how long it takes to get from 60 to 70. That's just what it does. We're still in first gear. None of that there's changing. I think the reason why some other times are changing is because because of my shift timing and stuff like that right there. So I think that's where most of that there is. But anyways, air fuel ratio all the way across here. So second, third, fourth, fifth, all that right there. Actually, a little bit leaner than what it was. So there's more to be gained there too. I think I'm gonna definitely try to get it tuned some more. Well, it really leaned out a little bit more up top here. So the ram air is taking effect because of the way it's set up now. and that early spot right here around 10,000 where it's always had that dip at, still got it there. So I'm gonna go back in there and try to get rid of some more of that right there. I'm gonna take my tune that I got here, and I'm gonna pull some more fuel out of there, and I'm probably gonna add some more. I may end up going by gear. You know, I think we're proving here that it may need it. But anyways, sorry I look a little bit rough. Like I said, I had a helmet on a minute ago and my gear on and stuff like that out there. So look a little bit rough here at the end of the video. But overall, I can say this is pretty cool to be able to see this kind of stuff here, get this kind of data. This is the kind of data that we're looking for. You know, like when I tune a bike, and I've already had some people reach out to me from that last video. They saw where I'm back tuning bikes and stuff. They saw the results. I had one guy call me. He said, man, like, he wasn't even looking to get me tuning anything. He's just like, man, he said, I really liked your video. I said, oh, you saw it? Because I really didn't have many viewers on the video because, you know, I haven't really been working on building my audience back up. So, but he was one of my guys, you know, one of the guys I didn't really tune on his bike before. Logan did whenever I was there, but you know, he was one of the customers there at the shop, and good guy. But he called me up and he said, man, he said, I like the way you did your video because I showed, here's where we started off at, sort of like we did with the dyno videos. Here's what we started off with, horsepower level. Here's what we gained to. Well, now I'm showing you this is what we started off with time-wise. Here's where I made the adjustments at. I'm showing you the air-fuel ratio, all that stuff, and then here's what we're gaining to. So that's that was pretty cool. It made me feel pretty good to have that there. So appreciate you, bro. And anybody else, man, like I said, I had somebody else reach out to me today, local guy. He saw that I'm back tuning bikes and stuff, and so we're gonna get him set up. He's got a Gen 2 Hayabusa. We're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get the same thing as what I'm doing here. I'm gonna get everything put on there. We're gonna take it down the road, let him ride it, and I'm just gonna get the data and work on it and everything and make these adjustments. And so we'll get, you know, get the early on numbers, and then I'm gonna make changes and stuff like that there. And most likely I'm gonna bring y'all videos and stuff like that there too. Because just like before, I mean, those videos, we done great with dyno videos, but I think these type videos are probably going to do even better. It's like, yeah, it's not a dyno. You don't get to see horsepower numbers, but we already know what horsepower numbers are, especially on stock bikes. I know what they make. And like this bike right here makes probably, you know, 125 to 127 horsepower maybe. So that's about where we're at now. And once I put some E85 in it, that'll be the next one that we're going to do. That will be coming in the future as well. So as you can see, I need a quick shifter. So that's gonna be another video. So we're gonna do another video with a quick shifter. We're gonna do another video with E85 in the future. So we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna go ahead and say, you know, I just made one hit. I wasn't even sure what it ran. I felt like it was quicker, but man, it really was quicker in that last stretch there. And I want to see. I feel like it may have been skipping and spinning there in fourth gear. Not like spinning, but there's a couple little weird spots in the RPMs here that I'm looking at. And then fifth gear, you know, I took it all the way out to 14.5, which is where the original rev limiter is on these bikes, is 14.5. So now with the extended rev limiter to 15,000, you know, I don't have to worry about hitting the rev limiter. So I'm at 14.5, 14.478, so 14.5 there as well. 14.477, I believe, where I was at. Yeah, 14.561. I mean, so I'm getting up to 14.5, which is where we need to be at with this thing on these shift points. Because now, those of y'all that may not have seen some of these dyno videos, most bikes do it anyway. Most stock bikes do. You know, once they get to a certain RPM, the horsepower starts to drop off on the back half. So you extend the rev limiter just so you can get those shift points. So you can shift right at where the factory rev limiter is. So the factory rev limiter is honestly in a bad spot. But the good thing is it keeps you from, you know, overwinding the motor. And now we're taking it out where we can go past that point and not have to worry about hitting the rev limiter. So now we don't hit the rev limiter, we just make the shifts where it needs to be at. And I always felt like before with my 06 that I used to have that, man, this thing here could just, it's stand to be extended out. Because I'd hit the rev limiter every now and then. But I knew where it was at, try to stay off of it. But it was still pulling. Now I'm hitting those shift points right where the rev limiter would be at from the factory. So that's, you know, that's getting results as well. But anyways, appreciate all y'all. Y'all drop down in the comments below. Y'all let me know, or you can call me, man, if you got my number.
Like I said, it's pretty cool getting to hear feedback from people though about what they like about these type of videos and everything. I know they go a little bit long. I do a little bit of rambling. I try to put in as much data as I can. That's the important thing to me, is data. And sometimes it makes videos a little bit boring, but the information's there, and that's, to me, is the most important thing, is having that information. So to be able to see, what kind of results we're getting here on this thing, makes me feel pretty good to be able to see the gains that we're getting and why we're getting them, and to see this thing right here pick up 3/10. Let me go back and look at this again. Look at the weather too. So the weather is a little bit cooler today. It's 8 degrees cooler than what it was that day. Altitude's about the same. DA is 2690 versus 2920, so a couple 100 feet better. So there's a couple of numbers that was gained there as well. So, but like I said, we gained 35 numbers. So I would say that 30 of those numbers, or 29 or whatever it was from the fairings. It was truthfully the fairings that made the difference there. So anyways, appreciate all y'all. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try to bring y'all more of this type of content in the future, and looking to get a good camera again. Right now I'm working with my cell phone. That's the reason why there's not too many on bike videos, or any on bike videos yet. So I'm going to get a good 360 camera. Gotta have it, especially if we're doing this type of content. I think it'll be great. I'll talk to you while I'm on the bike and everything, let you know kind of what's going on, and then we can come back here and go on about this other stuff here as well. But it'll make more of the video while I'm on the bike, so that'll make it a little bit better. So those of y'all out there that want to see that kind of content, some bike rides, stuff like that out there, help support the channel. Like I said, if anything, I'm not even doing a subscription kind of deal right now. I may bring that out later on though, because there's a lot of stuff that I do here. It's pretty simple to do to a degree. There's some knowledge that you gain from in the past where you've tried stuff and it works. So I know what works here some, with adjusting timing and making other adjustments, stuff like that there. I've picked up on stuff like that there in the past. But there's some stuff. So maybe in the future there'll be a subscription spot in the channel. Keep something simple, $5, $6, $10, whatever it may be, to be able to put out stuff like this right here, but in depth. So, that could be coming in the future as well. But like I said, from the beginning, we just need the support, man. I need support, something to cover, because YouTube, they kick us back a little bit of money. Not very much, so don't be thinking that we make killings. I'll go ahead and tell you, I make about $50 a month off of my YouTube channel. And, I don't put out tons of videos. You see guys that have these hundreds of thousands of followers, stuff like that, they make money. So don't let them fool you. But I make about $50 a month. It's no big deal. So that's all that there just always goes back into the channel. I'm gonna try to keep building up and everything, put stuff into the bike, put stuff into the equipment that I gotta have, and everything like that there, and try to start bringing more content, because in the past we had some good content. Had some drag racing content, had some dyno content, and stuff like that there. So I'm kind of bringing part of that there back with this right here. This is a little bit of both together. Making street pulls and getting results, and getting tuning results as well. So it's kind of both of them together. And I think that, honestly, to me, is a little bit better to see stuff like that right there. So anyways, appreciate all y'all. I'm gonna jump off of here. I've been rambling long enough. Probably gonna have to chop this video up a little bit, but we're gonna get out of here and try to get this bike right here up on the lift and make some more changes to it. I can see some improvements that we can make on it as well. So let's see if we can make some improvements. I already know if it went at 801, it'll go at 799. So I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be impressed by 799. I'll be impressed when I see it, because it'll be cool. I'm into the 7s now. So we went from the 9s to the from the low 9s to the low 8s, and so high 7s is definitely just another pull down the road, or whatever, whatever it is. But we're gonna see if we can get the same in here, into the 80s and 70s. Maybe, just maybe, we can get somebody lightweight on this thing in here and see if we can really make a difference with that right there. So if we can get somebody lightweight on it, old buddy Amos, if we can get him on there, Christian Sandy, get him on there, one of those guys, you know, that can get on here and ride this thing. Those guys there are well over 100 pounds lighter than me. So how much of a difference does weight make on a bike? It's a good question, because I know how much it makes a difference on the drag strip. And that's that low number that I can't change. Those low numbers don't change. Every time that I make a pull, they're almost the same. Nothing's really changing too much. I can get a little quicker, a little slower. The bike's gonna make what it's gonna make. It's gonna pull like it's gonna pull. You know, it's mainly my shift times, how long it takes me to shift, and then, you know, once we get to this mile per hour up enough, okay, now we can make gains, because now we're getting ram air. Now we're getting the tune right, and it's holding that gear longer so it can get the tune right. And then now we got aerodynamics because the fairings are on here. So we gotta, you know, got a lot of information there. So now we need to get some weight off the bike, which I'm the weight. Like I said, I'm big. I'm 250 pounds in gear. I've lost a little bit of weight, but you know, not enough. I'm never going to be that light like them guys there are. So I'd love to get one of those guys on. Maybe we can get them on in the future, and we can do an update video. And you know, I'll go out there and make a pass, maybe two. You know, see what kind of best out of two I can get, and then throw one of those guys on, whichever one it is, and see what we can get out of them too. So if either one of y'all guys are watching the video, y'all get up with me. I've been trying to get up with y'all. I know Amos is busy. He works all night during the week. So maybe Kristen can get through, or somebody, either way, or maybe we can get up together on the weekend. We're going to make it happen and bring it to the channel though. So appreciate all y'all. Have a good one.